Alright, so we just got finished with our Bitdefender 2014 test today, so I figured we'll do the Bitdefender 2015 beta test. As you can see, just by looking at the interface, much has changed with the appearance on it. We have more of a Windows 8 style type of buttons, very sharp edges, very boxy and square. At first, when this kind of started coming out, I really didn't particularly care for it, but I've really kind of grown accustomed to it and kind of like it now. However, I do prefer the other interface in a sense, just because it looked more technical. There was more buttons, but for someone who's a novice user, this interface probably is more geared towards them. If we click on protection, it gives you a nice breakdown of the entire computer, or the entire program, I should say, all the features of the program. And then you have these subcategories right here, which gives you different options within the main category. So we click on antivirus here. It gives us multiple options for the antivirus, same as before, exclusions, quarantine, stuff like that. I do find this interface a little bit easier to navigate than the other one, especially the firewall. They really have simplified it for non-advanced users, just for somebody to understand. But the thing about that is typically novice users aren't going to necessarily know what to do with a firewall, so they probably won't even know any of this stuff in here or even bother ever even taking a look at it. But it's kind of nice that they tried to simplify it a little bit. They still do have the advanced options over here for those people who are more advanced, such as myself. We have web protection then, got a search advisor, Bitdefender toolbar, stuff like that. Vulnerability scanner that was introduced in the other one. They state that some of these features are new that have already been introduced in the last version. They possibly have changed them or made improvements to them, but I don't really see much that's new with this version besides the fact that they've changed the interface, obviously, and maybe done some things under the hood. The biggest thing I did notice when I installed it is it asked if I wanted to create profiles. They have implemented this thing they called profiles, where you can actually, each person has their own profile. It learns what each specific person does on their computer, whether they play a lot of games, watch a lot of movies, and then can gear Bitdefender specifically to take up more or less resources depending on who is using the system, which is that's actually really a nice feature that they implemented there. And they've also made tons of improvements supposedly to autopilot that I've been reading online, which is really kind of nice, because that is a big feature of Bitdefender that I really do like. And I noticed in the last one, it performed very well in the signature base, but like McAfee, when it came to behavioral detections, it kind of really, in my mind, failed in a sense. But that was mostly because it was an autopilot. I didn't test it in user mode just because I test things by default, as you guys all know. However it installs is how I test the program. That was the way the developers saw it would be best fit, so that's the way I test the program. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing basically testing-wise as we did with MCSoft. We're going to take just a pack of malware and extract it, scan it, see the detection ratio, and then throw some malware at the program to see how well it does that. So, alright, let's see. Let's go to antivirus and turn that off. On access scanning, to restart, and turn that off. I don't really know if we need to turn that off, but I'm just going to do it anyways. Okay, let's just cancel that. Okay. And hopefully it can enable Windows Defender, because that's going to cause some problems. Alright, so we supposedly have the antivirus disabled. We are going to extract this, and I hope I remember the password for it. Yes, I do. Okay. Just created that today, and no, I didn't use the same password as they did. Okay, so we have, I think there's like 500 and some samples in here. Yeah, 563 samples. And we're going to go ahead and do a context scan with that. Scan with Bitdefender. They've also stated they've improved the scan speeds too, so let's see if that has improved at all. This is a quad-core processor, and I forgot to show you the memory usage. It was actually pretty good. Let's see, it probably is, it's going to obviously be higher because I'm scanning here. Not much though. This specific process right here was about 74 meg, I believe, and then all of these were under 10, if I remember correctly. This one may have been right at 10, but overall it was a very, very light application. I noticed they did I shouldn't say very light, because 74 is not very light, but they did make improvements compared to the 2014 that I've seen. And remember, this is a beta still, so that's expected to most likely go down as the final release is pushed out into the public. Alright, so this is almost done here, it looks like. That's kind of nice. They give you files per second, and all Avast kind of does that too, where it gives you a ratio of how many files it's doing per second. So far it says it's detected 347. I'm expecting it to detect roughly about the same amount as it did earlier today, just because it is the same signatures, or at least it should be. But what we're going to look for is to see if it performs any better now on the 0-day portion of the test versus the 2014 version, because that one didn't do so well. But most likely, like I said, was caused because I had it on autopilot. Now, so far I'm not really seeing much of an improvement with scan speeds. At least not noticeable. There could be an improvement, but I can't see it. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's supposedly deleting them. Did I click the wrong button? Thinking I may have. I'm thinking I rescanned. Alright, if I did, I'll just go ahead and pause the video, and when everything's removed, I will be back then. But we will see how fast this goes. Is it deleting them? Let me check. Yes, it is deleting them. Okay. So it's just taking a while. Figured I could have done that earlier, but oh well. You know, and I have to say the other one deleted the files much faster than this one is. So it did instruct to delete all the files and not go ahead and quarantine them. So we will see if that does it. If that followed my what I told it to do. But remember, this is a beta, so not going to be too critical on it. So far for a beta, it's performing pretty well, I'd have to say. It's about average. Usually betas aren't that bad. Usually they're pretty good. I mean, I've encountered some really bad, horrible betas. But this one's not nearly as bad as some of the ones. Okay. So it looks like it could not remove some of them. We'll say choose proper or take proper actions. Continue. Now it's going to go through and hopefully remove the remaining threats. And I do have to say this is taking much longer than the previous version did. Okay. So it's supposed to be removed all of them. We'll do one additional scan just to make sure no threats were found. We're going to re-enable the security, fix all issues, fix. Okay, that is nice they added that. I know in the previous version, I think it was Bitdefender, they didn't have a fix button, and I was stating that it would be nice if they had one, which it looks like they did. So kudos to them for that. Make sure we turn the active virus control back on. Okay, I think everything is enabled. Come on, open up. There we go. Okay, you are protected. The system is safe. So I'll go ahead and open up a folder and see what we got left. Alright, so as before, we have 9 items remaining. And if you remember from the last test, it was 98% detection ratio. So we started with 546 minus 9 equals 537 divided by 546, and we get 98%. So we have the exact same files as we did before. Now here's the real question is, will it be able to block them at all? Well, the other version did not. We'll see what this one does. So we're going to try the first one. Let me get kill switch open here. You can see what's going on in the background. And I should get my VPN online here, because I don't have that on right now. And I forgot to do that earlier today. Why do I keep forgetting to turn my VPN on? I don't know. Okay. We'll just go with that one. Oops. Disconnect my network card here quickly. Okay, we are connected with that. Connect to the network. Alright. Make sure you have internet. There we go. Okay. We are online now. So number one really didn't work, at least that I saw. It was maybe blocked by Bitdefender. Let's hide safe processes here. Let's try this one. Here's if this one got through. Okay, and that one also got through. But it states that the threat detected and was moved to quarantine. Okay. So it appears as if the results are most likely being the same here as 2014. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn off autopilot. Actually, it looks like autopilot was already off. Either way, we're going to turn it off, and I want to see if it's going to alert me at all. So far, it's not. Not alerting me at all. Okay, so it looks like we have winlogin.exe. Okay, malicious behavior, malicious application detected. Potentially malicious application. Let's see more details. Okay. So maybe it is actually performing a little bit better. But now I want to turn autopilot on because we had it off. I want to see if it performs any better doing that. Okay. And that was the last one. All right. So far it doesn't look like not much has changed with the behavioral detection here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reboot the computer, and I will do a scan with Bitdefender first, give it a fair chance to detect anything, and as you can see my user account controls have been disabled once again. Once Bitdefender is finished scanning, I am going to go ahead and do a scan with Komodo Cleaning Essentials as well as Malwarebytes and Hitman Pro. So when that is all done, I will be back. Alright guys, I'm back. So the computer blue screened twice basically, and obviously there's some form of malware in here that is causing issues. Komodo Cleaning Essentials did find 10 threats I noticed, and I couldn't see what they were, but I'm assuming they're Trojans and other stuff that basically was on the system before. Obviously it's got more into the system this time as versus last time, I should say. It's definitely gotten much worse. So it's somehow hooked itself in there. This is a beta, remember guys, so this kind of is to be expected. You should not use this program, or not, I shouldn't say this program, but do not use this version to protect your computer. This is exactly a point, this is exactly the reason why things are in beta, and you can see it's taking forever to boot up. The first time I did this too, it took literally about 2 minutes to boot up, and keep in mind guys, this is a Core i7 quad-core processor. Granted, it is on a virtual machine, I have still designated almost all that processing power to the virtual machine just to make the videos go faster, or as fast as possible. So bottom line, for the beta, they do have a lot of work to do on the beta. It is still very good. The detection rate of their signatures is awesome. But as I stated with McAfee, detection rate with signatures is something that is really not as important nowadays as it used to be back in the old days, when there was a lot less malware out there in the wild. There's so much malware out there now, it is almost impossible to, actually it is impossible to know every single piece of malware as it comes out, and it's only getting more and more difficult. That is why behavioral detection is so important, and unfortunately even turning off autopilot, the default settings in my mind just are not secure enough. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys can comment. Maybe I'm not doing something correctly. Maybe you guys can, give me an idea of what you want me to do for another test. Maybe when the final release is when the final release is out, maybe I can possibly change a few settings if you want to see how it would perform, if I can make it perform any better than it did here. But like I stated, unfortunately, they have a lot of work to do on the beta, and in general their behavioral detections need a lot of work even on their current version. So I'll leave you with that. Let me know what you think, comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.